5 years since the first World Women's Conference. 5 years in which the World Women's Movement has developed. Today, the starting signal was given for the second World Women's Conference in Kathmandu in Nepal. The history of this conference is also a history of overcoming obstacles. 1 year after the worst earthquake in Nepal for more than 80 years, in spite of the difficult conditions caused by the blockade of India, 8 Nepalese women's organizations have courageously decided to conduct the conference. The latest problem: this young woman, Shamla, German delegate with an Afghan passport, was stopped at Kathmandu airport immigration and sent back to Dubai due to problems with her passport. Another German delegation picked her up in Dubai. Now every effort was made to support her, starting from giving her food and mental support to organizing a demonstration at Kathmandu Foreign Ministry. An Austrian traveler was impressed when she heard that story. That they stick together so good, combined with intelligent information. I was deeply impressed. I would like to get into contact with you, to find out how I can contribute. And today, the good news was spread. Shamla was allowed to enter the country. They don't give up. They trust in the worldwide international solidarity. Women from 35 countries are here today. Many brigadists from Europe and India have already arrived some time before the conference. They prepared the conference together with the Nepalese women. The Nepalese women are just normal working women, women farmers that volunteered as brigadists just as we did. We went into the shops together and explained what we are doing, and in this way we collected donations. In a very poor country affected by the earthquake and also by the blockade, 45,000 rupees were collected. That is about 450 euros, and this is an overwhelming result. The conference is now a part of Kathmandu, thanks to the brigadists. Then finally the conference started. Women are climbing the highest mountains. United under the slogan, hundreds of participants of the Second World Women's Conference were demonstrating in Kathmandu. With numerous colored flags and banners, they made clear: women stand up against sexism and racism. Working class women stand up for the defense of their jobs and against low wages. Women stand up for the preservation of natural resources of humanity. Women stand up fighting for the liberation of women, for freedom and democracy. The Academy Hall is located in Kalamari Road in Kathmandu. The conference was officially opened here with an impressive ceremony. Representatives and delegates from 4 continents and 35 countries gathered. They were welcomed enthusiastically. A great start. The worldwide coordinators, the deputies and representatives from all involved Nepalese women's organizations took the stage. The Speaker of Parliament, Ansari Garti, inflamed a candle for the start of the World Women's Conference. This is a historical moment. The European coordinator, Monika Gärtner-Engel, who also came up with the idea of the World Women's Conference, gave an introduction into the history and future of the World Women's process. The most important criterion in the conferences is if they really strengthen the women's movement in all countries. The African coordinators presented all their participating countries culturally and thrillingly. Jolie Talukdar, also coordinator, conveyed the greetings for Asia as coordinator of the biggest continent. Vilma from Peru regretted that the consequences of the crisis did not allow the participation of more women from Latin America. But they still are a part of it. She conveyed greetings from representatives of many countries, explicitly also from Nancy from Venezuela. Halinka Augustin, European coordinator from the Netherlands, reported around the international brigades. Özlem, coordinator of the Middle East region, reported directly from the focal point of Kobane.
The Kobane is the symbol of the universal women's struggle, heritage and history.
With a wonderful cultural program, this exciting day ends. Monday morning. Kathmandu awakens. Today is the second day of the eventful Second World Women's Conference, but already we feel like being here for days. Everyone arrives at the Academy Hall in an excited mood. Manifold stands are expecting us around the hall with information, handicraft, books and food. A good opportunity to relax and have a chat. Momo is just one of the Nepalese food specialties offered here. Inside the Academy Hall, different workshops of the World Women's Conference started. Sheila Singh, one of the Nepalese coordinators, reports about the success of the conference.
We were also confused before some months, just aftermath the earthquake, because we are not sure that if we can organize this conference or not. But really, women, not only Nepalese women, all women all over the world, they showed their courage and they said that no, we can do it if we do it together, if we prepare it together. So we were also very inspired and we said at any cost, okay, we are going to do it.
We often have to answer the question, what is the impact of the conference to improve the life of the women? The World Women Process wants to really create a sustainable coordination in order to inform, cooperate, fight together and organize mutual support. And it does. Jolie Talukdar from the Garment Workers Union Bangladesh prepared the workshop about the situation and struggle of working class women, together with other women from the Netherlands and Tunisia. Jolie reported about their current activities among the garment workers.
It is very important if you support our movement, ongoing movement, where we are demanding minimum wages 15,000 taka.
How do you get the contact to the garment workers?
Most of time we do not go to factory gate, because if we go to factory gate and we will talk to anybody, any workers, the workers will be terminated. But we can go slum where workers are staying, living, and there are several regional offices in our organization. A lot of workers after the finishing the work, they will come our office, regional office also.
Inspired by Jolie and the World Women's Process, women of the German trade union Verdi initiated the so-called Project Jolie, collecting money for financing union organizers. At the end of the day, they handed over the remaining donated money and received a beautiful shirt in return.
Verdi selber ist die größte
Verdi itself is the biggest service sector trade union of the world. It has 2 million members and more than 1 million are women. To me, the change of the perspective is very important, from the regional, land and national level to the world level. I was also asked from different bodies to report about the conference. So there we have a domino effect, because now it goes from the highest level back to the lowest. And this is really fascinating.
Und dieses mobilisierende, mutmachende,
This mobilizing and encouraging spirit, I hope, and I'm quite sure, that we can carry this back home and spread it. This is an insight in just one of the 10 workshops that will last 2 days. Whenever the women come together, joint culture and celebrations are a firm part of the gathering. Thus, the second day ended with a moving Asian cultural night. When this Nepalese singer started her song, the women could not hold back and entered the stage for dancing. Day 3 of the World Women's Conference. Beside the touristic Kathmandu, the international participants also experience everyday life of Nepalese women. At Tri Chandra College, right next to the Academy Hall, young students have a basketball match. But the majority of the Nepalese women are peasants. This photo exhibition in the Academy Hall shows women of Okarkot. In this area of Nepal, they mainly grow rice. The situation of the women peasants and rural women is also the topic of one of the 10 workshops. 50 women from 8 countries are discussing the problems they have to face. 2 of them come from Africa. How do they organize women in Uganda and Namibia?
Since our organization deals with the Christianity, we always meet on Sundays, Fridays, Mondays and Thursdays. And we don't need to go to them, door knocking. They know what to do and they always come by themselves to meet, and after prayer then we talk all about the issues regarding women.
According to the regions, we are also engaged in different agricultural activities. In the northern side of Namibia, northern part of Namibia, women are mostly engaged in crop farming. The southern part of Namibia, women are mostly engaged in small stock farming, sheep, goats. So that's how they are planning their meetings accordingly. So at least once a month, women are meeting and discussing issues affecting them, like the impact of climate change. As recently we have been, there was an impact, or there's still an impact of severe drought in Namibia. So there was a need for women to at least meet from time to time, at least once a month, and discuss issues.
From Morocco comes Keltoum Idabdella, one of the leaders of the peasants' trade union there. 1985, the government built a dam on the land of the peasants and literally turned off their water. The peasants today only get water if they grow special products for export. As they couldn't survive by farming anymore, many women became workers on the big company farms and learned to fight and organize themselves. When we've been attacked by the state and the feudal, we started to think about what to do against this destroying of our life and our families. We started to talk with each other and make meetings. There we came up with the solution. So we founded the trade union, and now we've a meeting every 15 days. We started to make sit-ins and protestations against the dam company and against the state and the feudal. We have no finance. There are two things. We volunteer to work without money, and we bring from our pockets to finance the costs. If someone needs transport and has no money to finance himself, we collect the money among us. Our finance comes from ourselves. It's independent finance. It becomes visible that the women's movement precedes the changes in the internationalization of economy and politics. The workshops today are working on resolutions and proposals for the General Assembly that starts tomorrow. Experiences are being exchanged, new contacts and friendships are being made. One highlight of the cultural evening was this moving poem from the French participants, building a bridge between Europe and Africa. I may be mocked, I may be shamed, I may be harassed, wounded, beaten, mutilated, raped, murdered. I will always stand straight, never silencing my anger. Never shall my knees bend, more alive than hates, head held higher than the sky, feet set deeper than the earth. A woman and a fighter, forever. There's a lot of traffic in Kathmandu. Often the city hides under a big cloud of smoke. Many people only go out in the streets with face masks. There are even shops which sell not only ordinary but designed face masks. The environmental issue and the global warming especially affects Nepal. Melting glaciers, dangerous swelling lake levels and landslides, just to name a few of the problems. They can only be solved internationally. We need close cooperation in struggle. And that's also the aim of the General Assembly of the Second World Women's Conference. It started today. The delegates from Norway to South Africa, Suriname to Russia, and from religion to revolution thoroughly prepared themselves. Continental reports from Europe via Africa and the Middle East to Asia reported about the impacts of the climate catastrophe. We learned about haze in Indonesia or how the Greek women attempt to help the refugees in spite of their own huge problems. We heard reports about how the 3 joint days of struggle strengthened the cross-country cooperation. Many different women are encountering here that have never met each other before and speak different languages. There are naturally misunderstandings or contradictions, but it is impressive how these are solved.
I mean, if we don't discuss, the world won't get forward.
Yeah, during workshop we had a lot of heated discussions, but it happens in every meeting and every workshop because we are all individuals and we have different opinions about different things. That is very minor thing we resolve, and that is how we go ahead. It becomes very important when we express solidarity to people to whom our government is oppressing. It is not the whole Germany, whole India which is against blockade, which is in favor of blockade to Nepal or financial blockade to Greece. But whole population of Germany or India, they are not in favor of these kind of things and they oppose their governments. And that we have to express in words and in actions. Then it is a kind of solidarity that we can grow, have a bit amongst ourselves and confidence amongst ourselves.
Most people work voluntarily, like the coordinators, the cleaners, or the interpreters. We have simultaneous interpretation into 9 languages for the first time in Nepal. And in the evening, our heart was taken to Kurdistan. We are very proud to have Galia Namet participating in the conference. How do women become fighters? To become a member of the YPG, the girls first have to convince their family. They have to show their strengths and strengthen their family. That means one woman becoming a member, at least 20 people will change themselves. I've been reading the Quran. I've been reading Inche. I've been reading the Bible. For me, it's a great wealth. It's nothing bad. It is luck that so many different people can live together. Of course we have different languages, but when needed, I'm a Christ, I'm a Muslim, I am all. I'm human, and I respect all that. An exhausting and exciting day ends.
So, next song.
13 doctors and 18 nurses from Nepal, most of them young women, are organizing healthcare at the Academy Hall. All of them work voluntarily. How is the job situation amongst the youth in Kathmandu?
This is very difficult to find job. Most of nurses are doing volunteering in each and every hospital.
In the night shift, we usually work for 13 to 14 hours. So this is like a very complicated jobs but we deserve a high payment, but we are not getting. So this is the pathetic condition of our nation.
The young women from all over the world took over the panel at the second day of the General Assembly. Generally, the youth played a new role in taking on responsibility for the conference and the future process. They declared, "We want to become the young world women as component of the worldwide women's movement. We take home the task to organize more young women in our countries." The young women from Germany opposed the widespread opinion that women in their country would not be oppressed. Armani from Tunisia wished that the next World Women's Conference would take place in Africa. From Turkey, a young survivor of the Suruç massacre spoke. She's also a representative of the Mothers Initiative of the victims of that massacre. The delegates of the General Assembly promised the young women to support them. Today's climax, 77 delegates from 38 countries unanimously passed the Declaration of Kathmandu. We are on the way to an international movement of world women on the basis of our principles. We work above party lines. We work and decide in a democratic way. We are independent but do not separate ourselves from each other. We strengthen our financial basis. We learn to work and think in an internationalist mode of thinking. We practice a democratic culture of debate. The most important criterion in our work is if it really strengthens the women's movement in a sustainable way. There were intensive discussions and the women stated, "We are making manifold practical experience, but we must proceed them theoretically in a better way." Thus, an international seminar is going to take place on the theory of women's liberation in 2018 or 19. The World Women's Conference will send a delegation to the north of Kurdistan for solidarity. The next World Women's Conference is going to be conducted in 2021. The day ended like it started, with youth power. An international song contest voted on a world women's hymn. Young women from Nepal, Germany and Bangladesh presented wonderful contributions. It really wasn't easy to decide. In the end, young Casey won with her song Women of the World, We Arise. It is the wake of the last day of the World Women's Conference in Kathmandu. Incredible how fast time passed away and how much we achieved in this conference. We became a part of Kathmandu and Kathmandu a part of us. We are proud on the lasting achievements.
When I hear the word World Women Conference, the first thing that comes to my mind is international solidarity, because I think of the world and women. And then a conference that gathers women, I think of a women's gathering that brings solidarity. So powerful, very powerful.
Brilliant and very enjoy. I'm happy.
The power of what the working people, the working women can do is amazing, huh?
To encounter a culture and a place which is very much different to Latin America. Liberation and rights for women. No oppression by men. To me, it was great to hear and witness how serious the young women deal with the actual situation.
I think it's an amazing concept. So many people gathering from all over the world.
World women.
Then I see only strong women that want to claim the mountain.
To work together with the Nepalese women, even when they sometimes have other ways to do it like we do. Sometimes there were obstacles, but we overcame them, and you can see the result here.
Whenever I see a poster, when I walk in a street, I feel that the people are here from all around the world, especially women, to support Nepali women, I think.
I was in the workshop with the Bangladesh garment workers. That was great.
Very happy and very excited that grassroots women, working class women and peasant women are strong.
Ich möchte gerne nochmal wieder zum Treffen aller Frauen.
The numerous volunteers were rewarded at the end. Women from Europe handed over the remaining amount for a school that was reconstructed with money from the World Women after the earthquake. The World Women regretted very much that Monika Gärtner-Engel will now be available as European coordinator. She is going to be the first female main coordinator of the revolutionary world organization ECOR. We asked her for her first resume of the World Women's Conference.
The
second World Women's Conference here in Nepal was an outstanding conference, and I assess it qualitative-wise as a development to a higher level compared with Caracas. The development to a high level is mainly due to the fact that hundreds of volunteers from Nepal made it theirs and prepared it. But also grassroots women from all over the world that represent strong organizations and movements of grassroots women came in an even broader range of rural women, women workers, housewives, maids, young women. The young women especially took over a new responsibility for the conference. In the beginning, they were quite hesitating, and in the end, with an enormous aura, they took over responsibility and decided to become the young world women, and we can only look forward to that.
Und darauf kann man sich nur freuen.
Warm farewell scenes followed, contacts were made until the very last minute, and 61 countries now are participating in the World Women's process. Durga Paudel, Asian coordinator from Nepal, emphasizes that there are many different women from the most diverse countries, but the problems are the same. For her, this conference is a great example for others how to come together to struggle jointly.